there's only one left after this, and it's even the full words came out there. It isn't even a full thing, the last one, number 5, but it's close. This is number 4. Like, all of a sudden I can't remember where I've been setting everything. And you can, there's what the colors will be. There's some greens, and then down to like Naples yellow and yellow ochre and raw sienna. Oh. And no, I'm not going to get up again and clean my water. It's blues and greens, and it'll be okay. So, first is cobalt turquoise, which is the color I was telling you about. Which is such a pretty blue. PB 36. Cobalt. When we got it, it was from Snellier, and they didn't call it cobalt turquoise. We didn't know it was a cobalt for a while. I don't remember what they called it. Oh, it's so pretty. And let's see. I think that one's pretty close. That was the Charlie Blue. Next is cobalt turquoise deep. It's so much fun to paint these little trays and like get the color in the actual tray. Oh. That, I think, is the color that it looked like if you mix a little burnt sienna into cobalt turquoise. That's PB 36. What's the matter? You whining because it's raining? I don't know if you can hear the dog whining in the background. It's okay. Okay. And then cobalt green hue. PG7 and PB27. This looks like, what was it called that had eggshells in it from Egg Aloe? That's what it looks like. That color. Whatever that color was. PG7 and PB27. So, phthalo green and Prussian. It looks like Viridian. But like Viridian hue. Because actual Viridian's always very hard to pick up onto the brush. And the next is Viridian. Okay. And that is PG18, so it's the real Viridian. And the next is phthalo green. Oh, all by itself. Wow. It's always such an intense color. PG7. And then phthalo green yellow shade. PG36. I really thought when we got this one I would like it. We got this one from somebody else. PG36 phthalo green yellow shade. I do not. I did not like it. I don't know. It's intense of a color. It's not a natural green at all, and it's just like yellow but green but intense, and I don't know. And then the next one is Hooker's Green Dark, PG7 and PY42. I liked the Phoenix one. Was this color? But I don't know. I think I like sap, or actually olive, better than that. I end up painting with olive more than like a sap or a blue kind of a green. I end up painting with a yellow kind of a green more, which is interesting. And then next is Emerald Permanent. Emerald in parentheses. Permanent. Which is PG36, so phthalo green yellow shade, and PW6, which is white. I had a little more room for that one than I thought, and I was hoping I didn't miss anybody, but like you can see, I didn't miss anyone. And the next is Perylene Green. Ooh, I want to know about this one. I have Paul Rubens green, which came in like a granulating set and is phthalo green and Mars black. And I love that color. The darkness of it is just so easy to like paint with. And I eventually am going to run out of it because it came in a set of like 6 colors and we don't need to buy the full set to get the one color again. So like I thought this one was very similar looking. I also swatched it on some other dot card. Daniel Smith maybe? That's pretty. It's kind of a forest looking but with black like texture. But this is PBK 31. So the interesting thing about it is it's a single pigment black green. It's PBK, so like a black pigment. PBK 31. But it's green. It's like a green shade of a black pigment. That's really cool. Did I rinse the brush? Are you watching me? Did I rinse it? I don't know. There was lots of color on there. And the next is Denise's green. This is PY 129 and PB 60 Indian green, which looks like olive. It's an olive made with an Indian green. That's pretty. I should try mixing a yellow with an Indian green that I have. Well, the Indian green that I have is from Snaily and it picks up a ton of paint all at once. And since I just paint directly to the paper and don't mix on like a palette or something, I end up using that color. It's a bit hard to paint with. Chromium Oxide Green, PG 17. This is totally opaque. And missing just a little bit of life to it. I'm sure there's something you could do with it. And then Sap Green, PG 7 and PY 42. So phthalo green and yellow ochre. It's just really always very good to have a sap color. That's fun. I like that kind of a yellow ochre mixed with the green. And then Hooker's Green Light, PG 7 and PY 42. Same pigments as earlier. And this is the light version of this one, which interestingly is a little more yellow leaning than that one, as opposed to actually being light and dark. Like, it is a little lighter, but pretty much it's kind of the dark one is bluer leaning and then the light one is yellower leaning. I remember liking the dark one and painting with it, which is interesting because now I paint with the olive kind of color more often. I avoided olive for forever because I don't like olives. I just thought I wasn't gonna like olive. It's kind of funny. And this is olive green, PG 7 and PY 42. I think this is one of the ones that I keep using up in my palette. I think it's this one. And I can't ever remember if it's the DaVinci one or the American Journey one that I like better, but one of them has this interesting like texture thing to it. And then next is Joyce's Mother Green. Didn't we do Joyce's Mother something else earlier? Purple? I think it was a purple. This is more of like an army green kind of a color. PG 7, PBR 7, and PY 42. This is the first one we have with a PBR 7 in it. That's closer to like core olive, but lighter. And then Green Gold, PY 129. I've heard good things about it. It doesn't look like a good color in the pan. And that's PY 129. It's kind of brown with yellow undertones. I don't know. I don't know what I think of that. I mean, it's similar to like Was it Gamboge hue that I had early on that did that color shifting thing where it's like dark in the pan and then light, bright yellow in the background once you lighten it with water? Leaf green. Oh, this is one we thought was going to replace May green, but it's not. It's yellower, brighter, more like fluorescent looking green. Can you see that? Oh. Yes. That is PG7 and PY65. That's fun if you painted with like that and Opera Rose or Opus Pink and then just like made that your that would be such a bright like floral arrangement. Wow. And I put my finger in the paint. Don't worry about it. It wasn't a hazardous one. Mint green. This is bluish looking. Mint green is PG7, PY3, and PW6. That's kind of similar to these up here, but a little more yellow. And the next is peach, and peach has 4 pigments in it. And we're getting into the earth colors, I guess. Peach is an earth color. It really does look like, well, at least I think it looks like skin color. Peach, PR188, PY65, PY43, and PW6. I am not a portrait painter, so I don't need to worry about that, but that would be a good color for that. And the next is Naples Yellow, which is PY35 and PY43. I think that is, oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's got the exclamation point on it. And then next is Naples Yellow Deep, PBR 24 and PY53. And this one's even more opaque than the last one. And then next we have Yellow Ochre. This is the first yellow ochre we have painted in here. You have to have yellow ochre in a palette. You just, that's like, you have to have a yellow ochre. PY43. Yellow ochre. And then next is Raw Sienna. Raw Sienna is PBR 7. That's good. Oh, it's a little bit reddish looking. Look at that. Oh, I touched the card. And I said I wasn't going to do that anymore. Hold on, I need more color. It's a pretty color. I don't know how much I would end up using it, with it being a little reddish, but it's really pretty. It reminds me of one of the Caran d'Ache crayons, the like Neo Color 2 that I have that might be called Raw Sienna. It's pretty. And Nickel Azo Yellow. Whoa! It's one of those that's really dark in the mass tone in your pan, and then you go to pick it up and it's like bright yellow. Which is what my Gamboge did early on. It probably had nickel in it. I removed all of the nickel from my palettes. This one has an exclamation point next to it. That way I can actually like take medicines and drink water when it's time with having to get up and wash my hands. 'Cause I can't always do that. Well, there we go. Look at that. We've finished this card. This is a really pretty color palette together. Look at that. Alright. One left.